Hello everyone, I'm here with another video, and this video, as you can tell by the title, is going to be about random animes you should watch. So I have a list here on my phone. The first one I wanted to talk about because it's one of my favorite animes. It's on my top 5 list. That's how much I like it. I will start out by saying that a lot of these animes are not very action based. Most of them are more slice of lifey, kind of deal with more realistic kind of stuff. But I do love action animes. It's just this is my list that I curated because I wanted to talk more about animes that you don't really hear a lot about. So the first one is Honey and Clover. Now that one I really enjoyed because what I really loved about it was that it centers around a group of college students. I believe there's like 5 of them. There's 5 different students and they're in college, which if you're in the anime community, I'm sure you've come across the people that talk about how a lot of animes are centered around high school students, which is true. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it is nice when you're older, like myself in my early 20s. It's nice to see animes with people that are around your age. It makes it a little bit more relatable. So I liked Honey and Clover because it deals with 5 college students, and the cool thing about it too, the interesting part about it, is that they're in art school. So I really liked seeing how you see each student and then they each have like their own like niche. So the main person we're introduced to, I'm not even going to try to say their names because I will feel embarrassed if I pronounce them wrong, but the main guy does like sculptures, like he sculptures things. He makes sculptures, and the like the next girl, I think the first girl you're introduced to, again I forgot her name, but she does pottery, like ceramics, so that's her niche. And then one of the guys we're introduced to is he does like graphic design and like and then there was one guy, I'm not really sure, he's kind of like the wild guy in the group, and he'll just like knock out at random people's houses, spend the night, and then go on about his day, and just lives like a very crazy, no set time at all lifestyle, which is cool. He's a cool character. I really enjoyed his character. And then there's another character who is pretty much like the main girl almost in this story. She is a painter, and she paints like these beautiful things, and she's been talented since she was younger. But yeah, like she's a really talented painter. So in this anime there's a lot of just a lot of stuff you deal with in real life. Like, you know, obviously there's a romance aspect in it, and then there's, you know, you see like one of the college students who struggles with money and his finances, and then there's another one who falls in love with someone he knows can't have, and then there's another aspect where the girl falls in love with the guy who she can't have, so there's like a love triangle, and you kind of see like each character go through like these ups and downs, and just see how they have to get through life and how they can rely on each other. They're the friend group. Yeah, I think it's just a really good anime, and I always recommend it to people. And I really like how it deals with like unrequited love too, because I just feel like it's very realistic, and I really like that about it. But it still like captures your attention, and it's funny. It has some very funny parts. Okay, the next one I wanted to talk about is Scums Wish. So this one is more of like when I looked up the genre, it says psychological fiction with a touch of romance. So this one, this one's crazy. This one's crazy because, without saying too much, you're introduced to the main girl, and you see that she's in love with one of the teachers at her school, and you're like, ooh, no, like that's problematic. But she's known this teacher since she was younger. He's been a family friend of hers. But she ends up developing a crush on him later in life, and I think at one point he did end up finding out that she liked him, and he was kind of just like, that could like never happen, basically. And then you were introduced to the guy in this story, and basically he's in love with one of the teachers at the school too, whom he knows he can't have. So, and the teacher used to tutor him when he was younger, so like he's known her for a while too. So basically these two characters know about each other's unrequited loves, and they decide, okay, well, why don't we just hook up with each other? So basically they do that. They basically have like a friends with benefits situation going on. And yeah, that's pretty much like the premise of the story. And then you just kind of see how you're not gonna like the girl teacher. She's the most terrible, I'm just letting you know right now, she's the most terrible, awfulest character in this anime, because I'm just gonna say one phrase: man stealer. So basically she is very pretty. She's described as very beautiful, and basically had like a problematic life, and like you kind of like see later on like the kind of lifestyle that she has and how it can be problematic. But so she ends up living a pretty crazy life, and she can basically have any guy she wants, and she takes advantage of that. Okay. The next one. Okay, so basically finishing on Scums Wish, you kind of just see how these two friends with benefits are like, oh, why can't we just be in love with each other, because we know we can't have who we actually want. And I don't want to spoil too much, because like the twist later on will really get you like, whoa, like what the heck. So I'm not going to say too much, because I don't know, I think like the ending is really like upsetting. You get really upset at one point, but then at the very end you're kind of just like, okay, well, that was that. But yeah, it's a good one. Scums Wish. Really good anime. Okay, next one is Kids on the Slope. Now, I really enjoyed that one. And I will say, if you like music, especially jazz music, you'll really like this one, because it's very... So it's basically about these kids who live in the more rural areas of Japan, so away from the city. This one is this one is a coming-of-age romance slice of life. So this one is, it's got a lot. It's kind of similar to Scum's Wish in a way where you see like these relationships that basically don't work out. It deals with unrequited love as well as the other ones that I have talked about. You kind of just see these kids. This guy is new. The main guy is new at his school, and he basically becomes friends with the guy who is the total opposite of him. So the main guy is like a goody two-shoes, smarty pants, and the guy that he befriends is the troublemaker in the class. And they end up becoming super close, and then he becomes friends with the troublemaker guy's cousin, who is this girl in, I think she's either a grade above them or in the same grade. So all three of them hang out, and then later on you're introduced to one of the neighbor boys who was off to college, and he was coming back because he got into some trouble. And he's like this handsome, smooth-talking guy who's good at music. Like I said, it's so much jazz music is in it. I think like the main person you're introduced to is Chet Baker. And then basically the neighbor guy comes back, and he kind of starts a little bit of trouble. I won't say too much about that, but it deals with a relationship that ends up going somewhere else. That's all I'm going to say about it. But Kids on a Slope was such a cute anime. I loved the storyline. I loved the characters. This one will make you upset for a little bit, but then at the end you'll cry out of just pure joy and happiness because you're like, oh my god, it's so beautiful, it's perfect. But yeah, so that's Kids on a Slope. I really liked that one too. The next one I wanted to talk about. So this one is about recommend to you is Given. Now I know some of you have heard about Given because it has become so popular in the past like 2 years. I'm just telling you, it's a BL. And it is just so beautiful. The storyline is beautiful. The characters, you fall in love with like each character. And not only is there one love story, there's two. And you kind of see how they both develop, and it's beautiful. It's just a very pretty storyline, and I love the characters, and I love what each of them represent. So it's about a band, and this new guy comes out of nowhere, and he has this guitar that's just run down and broken, and he gets introduced to the main guy, who, don't even ask me to pronounce his name because I don't know how to say his name, but he ends up teaching him how to fix the guitar, and then eventually he teaches him how to play the guitar, and then he ends up they end up recruiting the guy who just moved here, letting him join the band. So it's so yeah, they end up, the main guy ends up helping the new guy fix his guitar, and then he eventually teaches him how to play. I'm not even going to try to say his name, but basically he finally lets him join the band, and it's beautiful, amazing. But yeah, that's Given. I always recommend Given. Okay, next is Nana. So I actually have the first volume of the manga for this one. I don't know if it's gonna focus, but this is Nana. It is so hard to find the manga, so hard to find it. We found this one randomly at, I believe it was Barnes & Noble, and let me just tell you, it's been like a month and I have not been able to find more. But yeah, Nana is another one that's on my top 5. So good. It's a beautiful storyline. Again, this one will make you mad, it'll make you sad. You'll definitely dislike a few characters, but you'll also fall in love with a few characters. What I really loved about this one is, so you're basically introduced to 2 girls named Nana. They're both named Nana. In the front, there's one Nana, and then in the back, there's the other one. So as you can tell, even by their styles, they're basically the polar opposites of each other. And it's so cute because they first meet on a train, and then they obviously go their separate ways, and then they're both moving to a new area, and they go to buy this apartment, and guess what? Nana shows up and the other Nana's there. So they end up buying or renting the apartment together, and they live together. And so you kind of just see these 2 girls go through life, and this Nana is in a rock band, so you see her and her bandmates and how basically like they navigate through life. And this Nana just got out of an ugly relationship because he cheated on her, and basically they just go through life together, and you're introduced to even more characters, and there's romance in it. I love how each character again brings like their own personality and what I also really loved about this one is I love the style. Like, let me just show you one page. Like, look at how they're drawn. Like, I love this style. Oh yeah, so on the back here it says, this is the story of 2 20-year-old women who share the same name. Even though they come from completely different backgrounds, they somehow meet and become best friends. The world of Nana is a world exploding with music, fashion, gossip, and all-night parties. So yeah, that's what I really loved about it. It not only are there some aspects of it that are relatable, but there's also this aspect of it that's kind of, I wouldn't say fantasy, but a lot of us, if you're like me, don't really live this sort of lifestyle. So it's nice to like see something that's relatable, but also have that aspect to it where like it's one step up from your normal everyday life. And I really love the fashion in it too. I love both of their outfits. They're beautiful. And I mean, look at this. You're introduced to some beautiful characters. So yeah, that's Nana. I love that one. Without having to make this video super crazy long, I just wanted to finish out with talking about the last one, which is Noragami. And that is an action fiction one, and it deals with supernatural fiction as well. So that one is basically about this girl who gets hit by a truck, and since she had a near-death experience, she's able to see supernatural things now, in which she gets introduced to Yato, who is the god of calamity, I believe it is. And basically they become friends in a very odd way, and then she basically is just going through these supernatural experiences with the god of calamity, and then eventually she gets introduced to some of the other gods. This anime was cute. I really enjoyed it. I loved that you're introduced to a little bit of romance, but it's not exactly there. And you kind of get mad because you're like, oh, I want this romance to happen. I don't remember, if I remember right, there's 2 seasons, but I don't remember how it ends exactly. It kind of ends on like a cliffhanger-y type where you think there's going to be more episodes, but I don't think a season 3 is going to be out soon. Not that I know of, but I could be wrong. But also, yeah, this anime's cute. Again, I love every character in it. I love that it's like supernatural and it deals with like killing like evil spirits and like bad energy spirits, kind of deals with that. And you're introduced to his regalia, which is this little boy named Yukine, and he's so cute. But yeah, basically you just follow the characters on their journey of defeating evil supernatural beings. And yeah, so I love that anime too. So that was all the anime that I recommend. I do have more, but I didn't want to make this video too crazy long because I tend to ramble on and on. But yeah, I might make another one because I do have more animes that I'd love to recommend. But let me know if any of you guys have seen those, or if you do end up watching them, let me know what you think. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching.